What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and to another Overwatch League news video, and today we are going to be talking about Krystal because he is back. I can't say this is something I was expecting, but the Guangzhou Charge have decided to take a chance by making Krystal a two-way player for them. Based off of some of the reactions I have seen out there, I know that some people are happy about this happening and some people are pretty upset, and for good reason on both sides, I'd say. Starting with the people that like this signing, I think it's completely understandable as Krystal is a very skilled player. When you look at it just from the skill perspective, I think it's a solid signing. Now, he didn't really get to showcase his skill set all that much in the Overwatch League just because of the drama that happened between him and the Spark, plus him being on a mostly Korean team and everything, so he couldn't really participate as much as he would have liked to, but in my opinion, he checks off a lot of boxes. He's very versatile, he's got a good hero pool, he has good pop-off potential, and just generally speaking, he has a pretty high ceiling. Whether he comes off the bench or he's a starter of some type, I think that you could get a lot of value out of Krystal on any team, really. If you're excited to see Krystal play this year, I wouldn't get my hopes up all that much just because, again, for one, he's a two-way player, so the likelihood of him even seeing many maps at all to begin with is low, but in just my honest opinion, there's like little to no chance he plays. For one, why would you want to play him or feel the need to when you have Eileen, who has been an absolute machine as of late? Him and Happy have made for a nice duo. I really don't see why you would want to change anything with those guys as of right now. But also, Nero did say something interesting over on the Guangzhou Charge Discord. More from him later, obviously, too, because of the title and everything. But for now, let's just read out what he said about Krystal. According to him, Krystal isn't even meant to be on the team really this year. He's more of a backup plan just in case people leave next year. And he also added on that's exactly why he's a two-way player and not a full-time. So yeah, that makes sense to me. If Nero himself is saying that, then I believe him. Now, you never know what's going to happen in life because it's crazy. Things change all the time. There might be a meta where suddenly he's needed and he's very useful on the team, but as of right now, I'm expecting him not to be played, especially if Nero himself is saying it. Meanwhile, we'll get the chance to see if Krystal is still as good as he used to be over in Contenders, as he's now part of Guangzhou's academy team, obviously, so that'll be interesting to see moving forward. So when it comes to the pure roster perspective of this thing, as well as how I think Krystal is going to fit in general, that's how I feel. Those are my opinions, but now let's talk about the other side of this argument. There are quite a few people out there who are not happy with the Charge and their decision here, and understandably so. Given what happened in the past between Krystal and the Guangzhou Spark, this isn't exactly what I'd call a positive publicity move, you know? If you don't know what happened between Krystal and the Spark because maybe you're new and you didn't really know about Krystal up until now, or you just didn't pay attention to that news back in the day, here's a quick summary. So basically, Krystal acted extremely selfish and unprofessionally. He straight up lied to the Spark so he could stay in China for longer. He completely ignored them too when they tried to contact him. Like, it's ridiculous. Now, from the perspective of being a foreign player having to live in a foreign place for months at a time just to play in the Overwatch League, I understand that it's stressful. I totally get that, and I could definitely see why he would want to stay at home for longer. It makes sense, but that wasn't even that much of a case with him, really. He threw away everything he had, the relationship with the Spark, his Overwatch League career at the time, just to spend time with some girl. I've heard that it wasn't easy for Krystal to get into contact with the team when they were trying to talk to him at the time, but still, that's just unacceptable. You gotta be aware that your team's gonna want to know what's going on if you're suddenly not coming back when you said you were originally going to. I have no idea what the guy was thinking back then, and it's a really unprofessional look on his part, and it's amazing that anybody wanted to give him a second chance. Krystal should really consider himself lucky that the Charge were willing to give him an opportunity because they know he's a skilled player. He is very, very lucky. It's completely understandable why some people would be upset about this move. It makes total sense, especially if you support the tier 2 scene because you've watched so many of your favorite players work their butts off. They work so hard, they're trying to grind to Overwatch League. Then Krystal, who got kicked out of the league, gets to just come back in. He had his chance in the league, but he threw that opportunity away, and what does he get in return? A second chance. Some of these tier 2 players have been working hard for months, years even, to get to the Overwatch League. They've been acting way more professionally than Krystal ever has in his entire life, and yet Krystal gets to come back in before them. Yes, I know that Krystal does have to prove himself technically in the tier 2 scene before he can make it full time, but at least he's part of the Charge team technically. I'm sure there's a ton of players who would kill to be in Krystal's position right now. I'm pretty 50-50 on this whole situation. Part of me thinks it's okay that Krystal has another opportunity. Maybe he can prove he's a changed man now, and I mean, he has to pay off a big fine anyway. I believe it's like over $2 million or something crazy like that, so he definitely learned his lesson. But at the same time, it's not exactly fair that he gets another chance after the big mess up he had. The Charge have been making some, well, interesting moves as of late that don't exactly help out with their publicity from a positive standpoint. I just talked about the Krystal thing, and I'm sure most of you have already seen it, but they also recently got a sponsorship with Herbalife. A lot of people are not happy about this, and I'm kind of in the same boat. This is not the company you want to be sponsored by. They're on the shady side. There's a lot of shady rumors about them out there. The big thing that people point to as a red flag with them is that they supposedly have, or had, I don't even know all the details, a pyramid scheme business model. If you don't know what a pyramid scheme is, let me quickly explain through Google definitions and everything. So first off, what you need to know is that they are illegal, but also pyramid companies make virtually all their profits from signing up new recruits and often attempt to disguise entry fees as the price charged for mandatory purchases of training, computer services, or product inventory. And Herbalife was accused of running one of these as the Federal Trade Commission fined them $200 million after the investigation. As a bonus, there's one other big time red flag that I don't like when it comes to Herbalife. So apparently, based off of the research I've done, many of their products and supplements have been linked with liver damage. I mean, like severe liver damage that can even lead to death or liver transplants. The company themselves have said that from internal testing, all of their stuff is safe, but a lot of the reports out there would disagree with them. So this just all in all looks like a really sketchy company, and I can't understand why the Charge would want to take a sponsorship deal with them of all people. It's been an interesting week or so for the Guangzhou Charge now, hasn't it? They go from winning the championship to making some sketchy deals left and right. And if there wasn't already enough headlines surrounding this team as it is, I'm sorry Charge fans, but also Nero did come out on his Discord server like I was talking about earlier and not just talk about the Krystal situation, but his situation, as apparently he is probably not going to play anymore for the rest of the season unless the team really needs him. According to Nero, he made this decision along with the coaches. They believe it is for the best, and now he's going to just go home for the time being and start streaming. This is a pretty tough break for Nero, and it's an interesting situation as he was the starter this year at first. He was doing very well on this Guangzhou team. He was a real superstar, but then he had to go renew his visa and he had to go through all of the quarantine stuff. So then Eileen took his job and never looked back. That's a real sucky situation to be in. Because you're not from the country and because of COVID-19, you just lose your job. You lose your starting job as an Overwatch League player. That's really tough. This might be the beginning of the end for him, as I have seen him complain about the game not being fun anymore in the past, and I get the feeling that he might just retire once this season is over. If not, at the very least, I do suspect that he will try and find a new team, and I can't blame him for doing that at all because it's really stressful, like I was saying before, to live in a foreign country, and he probably just doesn't want to be in China anymore. It's looking more and more like Krystal has been signed to replace Nero in the future. That could just be a guess. I could be completely wrong there, but that's what it looks like if you ask me. I'm hoping that my gut feeling is wrong here because it would be a shame if Nero had to leave the team or decided to leave the team, whatever it may be, because I like him. He's a great player, and I think he's a good fit on this Charge team because he's a solid leader, he gives them needed personality, and it gives the Chinese fans an opportunity to root for someone who isn't from their country. It's going to be interesting to see how the Charge do moving forward without Nero because it looks like he's not going to be playing for the time being. Let's see if Happy and Eileen can continue to be the only two pieces they need at the DPS line. I get the feeling they'll be okay just because Eileen is a super flex in his own right, but there may be a situation where they miss Nero. We'll have to see. Well, that's pretty much everything I've got for you guys today. Charge fans, let me know what you think of all of this down in the comment section. I'm interested to hear your opinions in particular. Also, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, and if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all of my most recent news videos. Don't forget that you can also follow me on Twitter, join the Discord server through the link in the description, and become a channel member if you wish to further support me. And as always, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.